know why my audio is not working. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, good. Okay, let's go. So, how y'all doing? So, in 2023, there has been like an incident where there's a woman that goes by Lindsey Clancy who is in trial for killing her three children. So there's like a post on X that caught my attention. There was women outside who were cheering for her and think that she's being abused by the justice system. So here. So, okay. So, her defense made the argument that the reason why she killed all three of her children is because she was going some kind of psychotic disorder, and I don't, and I call it bull crap. Um, she knew what she was doing, and I don't think it was an incident because she killed all three of them. So, hello, Malek 2509. How you doing? You're Turkish. I remember in 2013. Yeah, I know the Turkey. Turkey have a club team, Galatasaray. This is the team where DJ Drogba played for like a year, 2012, 2013. He played with Galatasaray. Okay, your English is not very good, so I don't know what to do because I don't speak Turkey. If you can speak French, then maybe I can hold my own. Those are the only two language I can speak. Hello, Shangbin. Would you like to watch the music video? No. I don't really pay attention to Turkey music. Malek 2509. Yes, I look black because I am black. Neck talkies. I don't know who you are and or how you look like. 2509. Okay, that's low. When you gonna a difference team, I'm a fan. I'm live now. I'm live now. You're gonna interact with me. So like I was saying, so Lindsey Clancy killed all three of her children. Yeah, I am going over the news and I am talking about Lindsey Clancy. So there has been the news that she killed all three of her children back in February 2023. So I am just going over the news, and I don't think she was going through psychotic disorder. She just did it, and then she tried to take her own life and failed, and then she got paralyzed, where she will no longer be able to walk. Okay, you love black skin. Okay, I am from the Ivory Coast. Malek 2509. Cool. Yeah, cool. Okay. So, no, I do not know Stray Kids. One of my viewers talked about Stray Kids, and I look it up, and I am not really a big fan of their music. Change being stay life. So, what I find so astonishing is white liberal women are supporting her. So the reason why I think she killed her kids is because she was consumed by the extreme wing of the Democratic Party, the far left. Yes, I can speak French. You want me to speak French? Malek 2509. You probably won't even understand me if I try to speak French. Okay, the word Malek means angels in English. Okay. Okay. So I will call you Angel. So, like I was saying, I think Lindsey Clancy was consumed by the extreme wing of. No, I don't know any Italian words. So I think Lindsey Clancy was consumed by the extreme wing of the Democratic Party, the far left, which caused her to kill all three of her children. The right, they advocate for men and women to get married and have kids. The left, on the other hand, they are the party of killing your political, like the extreme left, not everyone on the left. The far left, the extreme wing of the Democratic Party, they are they want to kill conservatives, and they want to have abortion until birth. So if you give a birth to a child, they want to abort the child. So, but Lindsey Clemsey was not pregnant. She just killed her children like that. So it was not really an abortion issue. She was just consumed by the extreme wing of the Democratic Party, the far left. And all these people who were like supporting her while she was in court, they are also consumed by the extreme wing of the Democratic Party. Hello, Cora Fat Pig. How you doing? Okay. And then there has been report that her husband divorced her, and then he moved on and he got married. So so what Google AI say is Patrick Clancy divorced Lindsey Clancy following the January 2023 tragedy involving their three children. Patrick relocated to New York City and officially filed for divorce. The divorce was finalized and he has since been remarried. So the key detail of the divorce filing and move 4 months after the death of his children, Patrick Clancy moved from Duxbury, Massachusetts to the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Around this time, he formally filed for divorce from Lindsey. Patrick has legally moved on with his life and married Dr. Rachel Denise, an NYC-based reproductive endocrinologist in a small ceremonies in Central Park. What's up, Deepen Knox? During Lindsey's ongoing murder trial, her defense attorney Kevin Reddington confirmed to the court that former couple is officially divorced and that Patrick has remarried. Lindsey Clancy is currently on trial, facing multiple charges of first-degree murder, with her defense arguing she should not be held criminally responsible due to severe postpartum psychosis. Patrick has had very limited contact with her since the tragedy and testified during a trial regarding the event. Say MS Dunn is the GOAT. MS Dunn is the GOAT. I don't know who MS Dunn is. So you don't need to be left wing to commit this kind of crime. Taking the lives of your children, you can be consumed by the extreme wing of the Democratic Party, the far left. She was probably consumed by the extreme wing of the Democratic Party, which drove her to take out all three of her kids. How are you? I'm good. Back, Mac. But I mean, this is insane. That she took out all three of them. They were born like not too long ago, and then she just killed them for whatever ridiculous reason. And then when I saw clips of her that popped up on X, she didn't really show any remorse or regret of killing her kids. So Clerpatriot tweeted, justice for Cora, Dunson, and Colin. The mother admitted to brutally killing them, someone they trusted with their whole being. Imagine how scared, confused, and betrayed they must have felt. F. Lindsey Clancy. I don't disagree with her. I mean, look at this. Why would she do something like this? Look at this. She killed him. She went through through pregnancy to have them, and then she just took their lives. Wow. Yeah, they deserve justice. And her husband divorced her, and they have not had any conversation since. Okay. Matt Walsh tweeted 4 hours ago, what do you want the system to do exactly? What precisely should someone have done for Lindsey Clancy that wasn't already being done? How much more pampering and coddling did these useless women need to prevent her from strangling her kids? Really, I really do not understand these people. Why are they simping for her? That's crazy.
I liked the system.
So, here.
I liked the system failed her. She was begging for help, but no one was there. I don't know if us being here will make her feel any better, but I mean, she's living in hell right now.
Just wanted to support Lindsey and just say it could be, one of my sister-in-laws, it could be one of my best friends, and it could be me. So just here to support.
We are hearing her. We see that she tried everything. And I really do believe that she went into a state of psychosis.
Clancy's supporters call her attorney Kevin Reddington a champion of women's rights.
Is she aware of this support, and what does she think of this support?
I'm going to go in and see her right now. I'm sure that she is, and if she isn't, she will be.
What do you think about?
She's so beat up and just so sad. This will really help her out, I think.
Tell her we love her.
The crowd of about 200 to 300 people lined the road as Lindsey Clancy was brought into the courthouse.
I hope when this is all over that the medical field gets, held responsible for some of this, because she tried. She tried desperately to get help, and it wasn't there. Whether she's guilty, innocent, it doesn't really matter. 3 lives are gone. And so just get to the truth. That's all.
It's not the system that failed her. She made that choice. She made that choice. She decided to take all of her children's lives. And then she's going to get the consequences for it. She will either be in a mental institute for the rest of her life, or she'll be in prison for the rest of her lives. The system did not fail her. One sec, I'm reading a different thing. Yeah, I'm responding to something, so I noticed a drop in viewerships. Okay. Okay, let's keep going. So I am Lee said Lindsey Clancy didn't have support. She had multiple therapists, psychiatrists, a parent, her ex-parents, daily daycare for the older two, and a nanny that stayed with her for 5 hours a day, 3 days a week, while her husband was working from home. How much more support could she have been given? Yeah, that's a good point. Me, these women who were like outside cheering her on, these are liberal women who are consumed by the extreme wing of the Democratic Party, just like she was when she decided to take out her children. Okay. Okay. So, but I could be wrong. I am not saying Lindsey Clancy is a lefty. I think she was consumed by the extreme wing of the Democratic Party. That's what drove her to take out her children. And these women who are defending her and cheering for her, I guarantee you, these women are liberals women. Conservative women would not be cheering for her. They would be, this is wrong, and the system did not fail you. You made that choice to take their lives. But guarantee these are liberals women. So here, all these women who are supporting her are liberal women, in my opinion. They're either liberal women or just liberal women. Yeah. Too long to read. I'm not gonna read this because this is too long to read. I am not deciding Massachusetts law for the verdict. I'm speaking about the law. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. So, Sassy last tweeted 2 hours ago. Today, Andrew Kolvet revealed that Candace told him if the wrong people were put in charge of Turning Point USA, she would burn it to the ground. In December, Candace was interviewed by Russell Brand and expected the whole, you know what, never mind, whatever. So the point of Sassy last tweet, so Candace was interviewed by Russell Brand in December. So she said that if the wrong people were, so so Candace Owens said to Russell Brand, if the wrong people were put in charge of Turning Point USA, she will burn it to the ground. So here.
Genuinely, I was expecting like we're all getting the old band back together and it's going to be me and Trump and I'm going to have the FBI help me investigate this and we're going to figure out what happened to my friend. Genuinely,
Okay, whatever. Okay. So Clerpatriot tweeted 51 minutes ago, where was the sympathy and massive outcry for support for Matthew Taylor Coleman? He was the Santa Barbara surf instructor who took his 2-year-old son and 10-month-old daughter in Mexico in 2021 and shot them both through the chest with a spearfishing gun. He then left the little bodies in the bushes. His reason was he enlightened by QAnon and Illuminati theories and believed his wife passed on serpent DNA to the children and they were going to grow into monsters. He thought he had to kill them to protect the world. He confessed the FBI and was charged with foreign murder of U.S. national. Now ask yourself, where were TikToks? Where was the same Matthew trend? Where were thousands of men posting soft-focused video saying, I felt that way too? The system failed him. He was just an overwhelmed dad who clearly loved his kid. Where were the articles about how fathers are failed by mental health care? I guess when mother does it, suddenly it's allowed, it's justified in the name of postpartum psychosis. She was sick. She was sick. She needed help. We're all Lindsey. Cleopatra makes a great point. I I was not familiar with that story Matthew Taylor took out 2 of his children. No one cared. But when Lindsey, what is her name? Lindsey Clay? Oh my gosh. I need to remember her name. So, like I was saying, Clerpatriot makes a great point. No one supported Matthew Taylor Coleman when he killed 2 of his children. But when Lindsey Clay took out 3 of her children, people are supporting her. And Clerpatriot's point is, you should not only care about mental health. Clerpatriot's point is, I guess when the mother does it, suddenly it's allowed and justified in the name of postpartum psychosis. But when the father does it, it's okay. I think both of them are wrong. It doesn't matter if it's a female or a male. You take out your children, it is wrong. People should not make excuse for Lindsey Clancy, just like people should not make excuses if it was a dad who killed his kids. So she makes an excellent point. So this is what she's talking about. So this guy killed both of his kids. And then there was no public outcry. But Lindsey Clay killed both of her kids. And there was public outcry. There is public outcry. And my guess is white liberal women who are defending this. Ninja. Yeah, so Steven Crowder tweeted 3 hours ago, I do not have any sympathy for Lindsey Clancy, and I do not have any sympathy for Carmelo Anthony. Sure, I pray for them. My sympathy is for the actual victim, not those who use it as a get out of jail free card or some kind of social currency. So here.
You know who I guarantee you would probably not have sympathy for Lindsey Clancy? The half a dozen to a dozen therapists, psychiatrists who said there's no helping this woman. She's pill shopping. And once she has to face accountability, she moves on to the next one. She had access to healthcare. She had access to medication. She had a husband who was helping her. And she killed 3 kids. And if
Yeah, that's a good point from Steven Crowder. Like, I can understand if she was like a single mom and then she didn't have access to therapy and all of that. But she had access to all of that. And then she had her husband. And then she still killed her kids.
Anyone here believes for a second that in our society today, it's like, well, really, actually, the problem is we're not allowed to talk about postpartum. What? It's a get out of jail free card all the time. And you know what? Maybe some people don't get the kind of care that they want or need. This one did. I don't care because the conversation shouldn't shift from anything other than 3 children were murdered. Were murdered. What, over $1 million in a GoFundMe? Show me the man who murdered 3 children and got $1 million in a GoFundMe. Show me that. Or people say, actually, it's not his fault. Here's the other thing, too. It's a very common myth. Not all the time, but most of the stories that you hear where someone just snapped, that's actually not what happened. It's not what happened. There's a long pattern, a history of behavior, misdeeds, displacing blame, where everyone else has to live in misery until you finally commit the ultimate evil. It's also the same thing very often with dogs. You'll see this, and I'm not kind of wading into the pit bull debate here, but any dog, I don't know what happened. This dog just all of a sudden lunch. No, when you look at it, not all the time, very often you go, oh wait, the dog was sleeping and the kid woke it up, dog was having a nightmare. That's a huge portion of dog attacks that you read as just snapped. Oh, wait a second, the dog was coming home, was on medication because the dog had just had surgery. The dog was brand new, had just been taken in from a rescue, had only been at the house for 2 weeks. And you see dog snaps, no way to see it coming. And it's far worse with people.
But even in that situation, dog snaps, no one saw it coming. What happens to the dog?
Right, dog gets put down. Dog gets put down. With a human, do you really think that it was good mom, good wife, good mom, good wife, good mom, good wife, good mom, good wife, 3 murders? Or do you think everyone around her, even though you want to believe she's a perpetual victim, they were waking up every day going, what's she going to put us through today? Try and understand that. Right? Pop psychologists on social media, when you talk about every man being a narcissist for wearing a wristwatch, apply it there. A lot of medication, a lot of costs for medication, a lot of chaos being sown. That seems like a lot of self-focus. It wasn't perfect, or even decent, triple murder. My sympathy, you only have so much sympathy in you, goes to the actual victims, namely, of course, the children, and I would say in this case, the father. The father who has to, people go, it must be so hard for her to live with what she did. You know who I think it's harder to live with? Probably the dad probably has a harder time living with someone else murdering his children. That's probably harder for him than her. Could we agree on that? Where's the conversation on the father and husband other than he's a piece of shit because he didn't know where to go at the drugstore? It must be so hard to be Carmelo Anthony and he was scared. You know what's probably harder on? The family of the kid who was killed. It must be so hard for these migrants and they want to, you know what's probably harder on? The child who was raped. The hundreds of thousands of them in mass numbers. That's who it's harder on. It must be so hard. We have to catch and really, you know who it's harder on? The person who was subjected to the knockout game from said repeat offender. And the next person who gets assaulted or gets killed because they don't get taught a lesson. That's who it's harder on.
Okay, so Cinema Shogun tweeted 5 hours ago, hundreds of potential baby killers are gathering in support of Lindsey Clancy as we speak. Lindsey Clancy killed her 3 innocent babies by strangling them one by one with her exercise bands. Lindsey doesn't even deny that, and neither do her lawyers. Meanwhile, millions of women across the internet have decided she's innocent due to constant consumption of TikTok videos and antidepressant. Now they're gathering in alarming numbers outside of the courthouse. As you can see, even brought their own babies with them. Every person out should have their children removed from their homes before it's too late. I actually agree with him. Because these people who are I agree with Cinema Shogun. Because these people who are supporting Lindsey Clancy, maybe they might take out their child too. They might take out their own child as well.
Lindsey supporters wearing pink gathered outside court, quote, standing in silence in peace for Lindsey. Similar gatherings planned across 24 states and internationally as far as the Netherlands today. Her attorney tells me Lindsey is aware of this support, and he says this is all about people who feel as though the mental health system failed her.
Many women in one place at one time who may understand all of us on a level that others don't. So,
Lindsey supporter.
Oh my goodness. She had all the help she needed and she still killed them, so. Okay, let's move on to Candace Owens. So there's like a X account user that goes by Jock Trend. He said, Andrew Wilson calls Candace Owens stupid, say she didn't even understand half of what he was saying. I'm just going to be really blunt with you guys. I thought that she was actually quite stupid. I was shocked. I was actually quite stunned. I didn't think that she was a very smart person at all. I had a good reason to believe that going in, but I didn't think that she was a particular good interlocking. She never made any points at all. She would just kind of ramble. It was just kind of incoherent babble and ramble at any time. I would get to the point or make her to address an actual point. She will go back to rambling incoherently. She actually didn't even understand what I was asking her. Yet from my perspective, my toughest part of the debate was that she actually didn't understand half of what I was saying. I don't think there was any real debate. She was stupid. I mean, she didn't even know that lightning causes thunder and thought July 4th, 1776 was the Boston Tea Party. But that debate performance showed us the full extent of it, and it was quite shocking. So here.
So anyway, back to this. Yeah, so I'm just going to be really blunt with you guys. I thought that she was actually quite stupid. I was shocked. I was actually quite stunned. I didn't think that she was a very smart person at all. I had good reason to believe that going in, but I didn't think that she was a particularly good interlocutor. She never made any points at all. She would just kind of ramble. It was just kind of incoherent babble and ramble, and anytime I would get to the point or make her address an actual point, she would go back to rambling incoherently. She didn't understand what inductive reasoning was. I even spelled it out in a very, very simplistic way. Inductive reasoning would be like if, then, and, or. So if I'm 20 minutes away from my job, and I'm supposed to be there in 5 minutes, then I can assume I'm going to be late, right? That would be an inductively reasoned out position. When I explained that to her and then asked her to give me her induction for how we get to Israel, TPUSA, France, and all these other people who are involved in the conspiracy to murder Kirk, she actually didn't even understand what I was asking her.
Yeah,
So you know, from my perspective, it was that was the toughest part of the debate, was that she actually didn't even understand half of what I was saying.
Okay. But whatever. Candace Owens, it's whatever. Okay, so Tomi Lahren tweeted, I know a lot of Republicans don't want to hear this, but the right is on the verge of making the same mistake with young women that the left did it with young men. I know some of these women are fun to mock, and I get it, and I do it too. But we have to do better if we want to bring them over to our side. If we totally alienate young women, we will not win election. We have to find a way to appeal to them. Yes, I actually agree with you. This is why I agree with Tomi Lahren. This is why it is stupid. The red pill is a stupid ideology because you're alienating women. Regardless of what your view are about women, if you are in the manosphere, the red pill, you need to try to appeal to them. Because we're not going to take women's right to vote. So, calling women a bunch of names and you're not appealing to them. You're alienating them. Thank you. Okay. Trump managed to win the election. I mean, Trump did fine with the women's vote. I mean, for example, white women. Trump constantly won a majority of white female voters across 3 elections, securing roughly 52% in 2016, 53% in 2020, and 53% in 2024, according to the Edison research. White women without a college degree. This group represented one of his strongest female support bases, constantly breaking for Trump by a margin of over 60% across all 3 cycles. Gen X and older women. In 2024, Trump made notable inroad with older cohort, capturing approximately 50 to 51% of women aged 50 to 64, a significant increase from 44% share in the same age group in 2020. I mean, Trump did well with the women's vote. regardless of what these manosphere thinks of women, whether it's Andrew Wilson and Myron Gaines, Trump did well with women. And he won the 2016 election and he won the 2024 election. So, and then in 2016, Clinton won 54% of women's votes, while Trump won 41%. White women, Trump won this specific subgroup, securing 52% of the white woman vote compared to Clinton 43%. White women without a college degree, Trump won this group decisively with 61%. White women with a college degree, Clinton won this subgroup with 51% compared to Trump 44%. Black woman, Clinton got like 4%. Clinton won 69% of the vote compared to Trump 26%. What about Kamala Harris? Let's see. So when I compared the demographic with, so this was the demographic for Trump versus Hillary Clinton in 2016. No, this was the statistic, I'm sorry, the statistics of how well they did with women vote, with the women's vote. Now for the female vote in 2024, 53% voted for Harris while 45% voted for Trump. Black women, 92% voted for Harris, 7% voted for Trump. Latina women, 61% to 37%. White women overall. So Trump defeated Harris with white women. 53% to 45%. College-educated women. College-educated women are usually Democrats. So 61% Kamala Harris, 37% Trump. One second. To them that so non-college educated woman, 53% to 45%. Actually, Harris did well with non-college educated women. White college educated women, 40%. White non-college woman. Trump did well with white college woman. But I agree with Tomi Lahren tweet. The Republican need to try to appeal to the women's vote. So, Elizabeth Brown tweeted 10 hours ago that reminder that it's not just postpartum rage, depression, psychosis. Feminist groups have been hosting rage retreat in the woods for years now. This is not normal behavior. So, here. Okay. So this was a tweet from Isabella Brown. So Kelly tweeted 8 hours ago, the Lindsey Clansey trial will eventually end. The conversation about women's mental health shouldn't end with it. Whatever verdict you believe is appropriate, this case has exposed difficult questions about postpartum mental health, psychiatric care, medication management, warning sign, and what happens when someone repeatedly say they need help. When the cameras lift Plymouth, I hope that conversation continue everywhere. Okay. If it was a man who did what Lindsey Clancy did, no one would be supporting him. But apparently these women, they supported her. If the role was reversed, let's just say Lindsey Clancy husband killed all three of their children, no woman or man will be outside supporting him. But her, the system failed her.
I hope.
I like to see him help. She was begging for help and no one was there. I don't know if us being here will make her feel any better, but I mean, she's living in hell right now.
Just wanted to support Lindsey and just say it could be, one of my sister-in-laws, it could be one of my best friends, and it could be me. So just here to support.
We are hearing her. We see that she.
You know what? I already played that clip. I don't even know why I'm playing that clip again.
That she went into a state of psychosis.
Yeah. But these women, if this was Lindsey Clemsey's husband who did this, these women would not be defending him. Okay, you know what? Let's move to something different. So outspoken Samantha tweeted, he smacked a couple of kids because their kids used word he didn't like. What? Can you imagine? Trans violence against kids. Leans Lawson, her man pretending to be a woman, proudly admit to physically assaulting kids at a park in Canada after they call him a man. Okay, so here.
That starts using language. So I was just minding my business here in Lewis Park. Was having a little picnic. Just minding my own business, having a picnic. And then this group of kids came up and started hassling me, talking shit to me, calling me a tranny. and I smacked one. They used words they weren't supposed to, and I smacked one of them upside the head. And yeah, they didn't like that. You know, I smacked a couple kids upside the head for saying words they shouldn't be saying. But I'm going to be honest with you, it wouldn't have mattered if they were kids. Anybody talks to me like that now, I'm going to react like that. And any person that starts using language that requires me to justify my existence for just sitting there eating some charcuterie in the fucking park, I'm gonna smack him upside the head.
I mean, are they wrong though? Are these people that he smacked in the head, are these kids that he smacked off their hand wrong? I mean, he's a trans woman, so okay. Maybe these kids that he smacked cannot defend themselves.
So I was just...
They cannot defend themselves against him. A man pretending to be a woman proudly admit to physically assaulting kids at a park in Canada after they called him a man. Yes, he is a man. But maybe these kids should have called him a trans woman. Okay, whatever. Okay, so Nusa Kade tweeted, there's an account user that goes by Nusa Kade. For generations, women have been taught my body, my choice. Women have been told children are an inconvenient burden, and as the mother, you have the right to decide if you want that burden. If you don't, you can end the life of the baby with the help of medical community. Some women have believed this monstrous lie. Men as a group have accepted a woman's right to choose as a way of relieving themselves of the responsibility of unwanted fatherhood. Being a father is an incredibly big job, in some way bigger than being a mother. Now when a woman with the tacit help of the medical community relieves herself of the burden of her three children, women are rallying around her claiming to identify with the murderous mother. People are shocked to see this, but they shouldn't be. There's no moral difference between what Lindsey Clancy did, the choice to end hundreds of thousands of lives through. This was not an abortion issue. It wasn't like she was pregnant and she decided to go to the doctor and end her pregnancy. That was just straight up murder. Both of her children were not in her womb or in her stomach. She made that decision to kill all three of her children. So this was not an abortion issue. That was a choice. Okay, I'm about to end the stream now. Okay.